out here, this line, top line is 4,800, 4,600 citations. And you can see that in the beginning of this millennium it starts really taking off. For several reasons. Initially there were not so many programs, but more programs become available, more easily used by people, and computing power also increases. There is a little bit of double count because some of these have multiple publications, so they get counted several times. But maybe not 4,000, but let's say realistically there are 1,000 to 2,000 publications each year using these techniques. And one has to be careful because now we are doing experiments in computing, just running simulations to see what happens if we actually think about it. So one has to design even these experiments carefully. I have two cats, I can tell you how those experiments will not work with cats. With that, I give the word to the respondent.
Thanks so much for the brief and interesting introduction from Professor Yersek, and welcome to my defense of my thesis. The title of my thesis is Theoretical Studies of G-protein coupled receptors. And the thesis can be divided into 4 parts. In the first part, I will briefly introduce G-protein coupled receptors. And in the second part, I will describe the method that I used in the simulation in this thesis. And in the third part, the projects that included in the thesis are described, and the project can be divided into 2 sub-research areas. The first one is the activation of GPCR, where we studied the function of water molecules in the redox activation. And the second one is the synergy effects of the sodium ion in the allosteric side and the ligand in the orthosteric side to modulate the activation of the other receptor. And the third project is the signaling from BF2AR to GS30. And the second sub-research area is the ligand selectivity in GPCR, where we studied the selectivity using corticotropic leading factor receptor 1 as an example. And finally, the summary of the thesis is included. Okay, let's move to the first part, where it is the introduction of GPCR. G-protein coupled receptors is the largest family of membrane proteins in eukaryotes, and it contains a wide range of stimulus from the intracellular side of the cell and transfer the signal through the helix bundle to the intracellular side of the cell. And in human, there are about 800 members of membrane proteins belong to GPCR, and they can be classified into 4 classes. And although there are so many GPCRs, the structures of GPCR are conserved. They share the conserved architecture, which is characterized by 7 transmembrane helixes and linked by 3 extracellular loops and 3 intracellular loops. And upon binding to different kinds of ligand, such as the antagonist or agonist, the coupling of the GS protein can be regulated. Normally, the G protein includes 3 units: the G alpha unit, the G beta, and the G gamma units. And the G protein can be further used to regulate the downstream proteins to modulate the behaviors of the cell. And because of the diverse functions of G protein carried out in human body, more than 1/4 of the clinical used drugs play a role in human body by targeting on GPCRs. So there is a great therapeutic potential to study the GPCRs. And although the study of GPCR can be traced back to more than 100 years ago, the structural information about GPCR is only available in 2000, in which year the structure of the redoxin is determined at a resolution of 2.8 angstrom. However, techniques that are used to crystallize the redoxin is not successful to the RGPCRs because there is an intrinsically disordered region on the third loop of GPCR. The dilemma is solved in 2007 by Brown-Kovic, who used a structurally rigid body to substitute the intrinsically disordered region and result in the structure of beta-2 AR at a high resolution. And this technique has been successfully applied to the other GPCRs and leads to a flurry of GPCR structures. And all these structures have greatly advanced the study of GPCRs and makes a lot of unresolved issues can be addressed based on these structures. And among all these issues that we are interested in two areas, which is the activation of GPCR and the ligand selectivity in GPCR. To study the first issue, we studied from three aspects. The first one is the water-mediated activation or reduction, and the second one is the synergy effects of the sodium ion in the allosteric site and the ligand in the alpha-therapeutic site to regulate the activation of opioid receptor. And the third one is the signaling from beta-2 adenylate receptor to GS protein. And for the ligand selectivity issue, we studied corticotropin factor receptor 1 and to investigate the selectivity of antagonist. And we know that the crystal structure just provides us a static picture about this protein. However, these proteins are carried out their functions in human body dynamically. So we need a lot of combination methods to study the dynamic behaviors of these proteins. And let's move to the method part. The fundamental method used in this synthesis is molecular dynamic simulations. And in this method, the Newton's law was used to cover the motion of the atoms in the system. And the charm force field was applied to the system. And this force field has been successfully applied to a lot of memory proteins. And so we used it to describe the interatomic potentials of the system. And the scaling and loss-pool thermostats was applied to control the system at a desired temperature. And the parallel ramming barostate was used to control the pressure of the system. And the program used in this synthesis are Lambda and Gromas. And as we are interested in the function of water molecules in reduction, and the theory applied here is inhomogeneous fluid theory. In this theory, the interfacial water molecules are seems to be different from the bulk water molecules. And the solvation energy of each water molecule can be obtained from this theory. And it has been successfully applied to protein-ligand interfaces, protein-protein interaction interfaces, and also protein cavity. So we applied this theory to GPCR to analyze the water molecules. And here this is the derivation of this theory. The entropy of the water molecules can be divided into the water-protein correlation part and the water-water correlation part. The water-protein correlation entropy can be obtained from this equation, which is based on the radial distribution function. And the water-water correlation part can be divided into the translational part and the orientational part. As we have already got the entropy, the entropy can be obtained directly from the interaction energy. So we have got the solvation energy to describe the thermodynamic stability of the water molecules, and further to derive the function of the water molecules in the activation of the function of GPCR. And another technique applied in three projects of the synthesis is the metadynamic simulation. In this method, enhanced sampling of the system can be obtained to some selected collateral variables, and the free and escape can be obtained corresponding to the selected collateral variables. And here, this is the equation of this method. In this method, the first potential was added to the collateral variables to disfigure the system to visit the historically rich conformation spaces and take this picture as a demonstration. The triple job here is the kind of burst potential. If enough burst potential is added to this conformation minimum, the system is driven from this minimum to the other minimum. So better sucking of the system can be obtained. And the summation of the burst potential can be further used to derive the free energy landscape of the system. So based on all the three methods I have described, we carried out our calculations. And the first project is a function of water molecules in redox activation. Here, this is the structure of redoxing in the inactive state. And it is determined in two cylinders at a resolution of 2.8 angstrom. And from then on, the redoxing has been used as a template to study several GPCRs. And the structure of redoxing in the active state is also available. And we can see comparing the structure of the redoxing in active state to the inactive state, and outward tilting motion on the 6 helix can be observed. And it is interesting to note that without the water molecules, the redoxing cannot be activated from the inactive state to the active state. And so how does the water molecules functions in this process? And another state is also included, which is meta 2 state. This is the transition state and very important in explaining the activation of redoxing. So we studied the water molecule distributions in all these three states, and can derive the function of the water molecules from the evolution of the water mediated hydrogen network. And here this is a result from the inhomogeneous field theory study. And we found water molecules are distributed along the Higgs boundary in all the three states. And the solvation energy of the water molecules are colored are also shown as the colors. In here, the entropy of the water molecule is colored on the oxygen atom, and the entropy of the water molecule is colored on the hydrogen atoms. And all the co-crystallized water molecules are also covered by the identity site that we are identified. So it proves the reliability of our method in determining the water molecules. After comparison, we found that the water molecules in the meta 2 state are very similar with the active state. So we just use the meta 2 state as a comparison to the inactive state to derive the function of the water molecules in the activation of the redoxing. There are two important function regions, which is a regional binding region, and the other one is the NPXY motif region. And we will analyze these two regions in detail in the following slides. Here this is the results for the regional binding region. In this region, the retinol can absorb the photons and trigger activation of the redoxing. And we found that one water molecule is located adjacent to the surface here. And upon the activation of the receptor, this water molecule, together with this glutamic acid, moves towards the surface as indicated here. We can see it from the distances. And here, the distance from the glutamic acid to the surface is 7.1 angstrom, and here, the distance from this glutamic acid to the surface is only 5 angstrom. So we suggest that this water molecule can work as a switch to turn on the activation. Then we move to the NPXY motif. The NPXY motif is the most conserved region in class A GPCR, and the rearrangement of this motif is observed upon the activation in the MAC2 state is big, and then the helices becomes loosely compacted and may facilitate the signal transfer from the extracellular side to the intracellular side. And based on all the crystal structures that have been identified and the water molecules identified in this study, we proposed the water-mediated reduction activation technique. Upon the absorption of photon by retinol, the activation or reduction can be triggered. And the water molecule here can work as a switch to turn on the activation, and the signal can transfer through a bunch of radios to this trapper radio, and resulting in the rearrangement of this region. And the water-mediated hydrogen network in this region becomes loosely compacted, and then the signal can transfer through this region to the intracellular side of the cell. Then we move to the second project, which is the synergy effects of the sodium ion in the allosteric side and the ligand in the orthosteric side to modulate the activation of opioid receptor. Opioid receptor is a class A GPCR and plays a very important function in human body. And the dysfunction of this protein may result in neurological diseases, and there are already clinical use drugs to targeting on this receptor to treat such kind of disorders. And there are two ligand binding pockets in the opioid receptor. The first one is the orthosteric side, where the endogenous ligand can bind to it. Another one is the allosteric side, where the sodium ion can bind to it. In this project, we focused on how these two sides can collaboratively work with each other to regulate the activation of opioid receptor. We first studied the penetration of the sodium ion into the allosteric side. We found that it can bind to the allosteric side from the extracellular side of the receptor to the allosteric side at about 200 nanoseconds. And after 200 nanoseconds, the sodium ion is cultivated by several polar radios and stabilized in this side. Then we included the antagonist or agonist in the simulation. We found that from the RMS value of the ligand in the simulation, if both the sodium ion and the agonist or antagonist is included in the simulation, both the antagonist and the agonist can stabilize in their original conformation as the red line and the blue line. However, if we remove the sodium ion from the system and just include the antagonist or agonist in the simulation, a big conformational change is observed for the antagonist from the MST values, as indicated by the blue line here. However, we do not observe very big conformational change for the system just include the agonist where the sodium ion is not included. And we use another value, which is the distance between the tertiary function of the agonist and the tertiary value. We found that the water-mediated hydrogen bond between these groups disappeared occasionally in the simulation as shown by the yellow line. From our results, we can see that the sodium ion can stabilize both the agonist or antagonist in the opioid receptor. From this picture, we can see that the sodium ion is in the allosteric side and the agonist or antagonist is in the orthosteric side. These two sides are not located adjacent to each other. So how does the sodium ion in the allosteric side can affect the conformation of the ligand in the orthosteric side? They found that one radio, which is the tertiary radio, located at a position which can bridge the allosteric side and the orthosteric side. So we further monitored the conformation of this trapper radio. We found that here this is the initial conformation of this trapper radio. If we include the antagonist in the simulation, the chapter 1 value undergoes a conformational change from its initial conformation to the blue structure here. We call it a transition state. And if we include the agonist and the sodium ion in the simulation, the chapter 1 value undergoes another conformational change, which is the top switch motion. And the conformation change from this structure, which is the initial one, to the blue one. Sorry, to the green one. And before want to investigate at what stage does this kind of conformational change happen? From the temporal evolution of the K1 and K2 envelope of this direction radio, we found both the transmission switch motion and the top switch motion happen at the initial stage of the simulation. And we know that this kind of conformational change may appear as a result of steric class effects. To exclude such kind of effects, we carried out metadynamic simulations using K1 and K2 of this chapter value as the collector variable. And we found if we just include the antagonist in the simulation, we observed a very big blue region which is surrounding W3, which is corresponding to this conformation. This means that the transmission switch motion can happen easily if the antagonist is included in the simulation. However, for the system, if we include the agonist and sodium ion in the simulation, the system can go from W1 to W4 easily. Not easily with any barrier, but this kind of top switch motion can be observed, which is the W1 and corresponding to this conformation, and the W4 corresponding to the top switch motion. And I would like to note that the top switch motion has been proposed more than 20 years ago to explain the activation of opioid receptor based on the NMR results. However, no crystal structure has observed this kind of top switch motion. So the transmission switch motion has been developed recently to explain the activation of GPCR. And in our simulation, we observed both the top switch motion and the transmission switch motion, and they can be used to explain the activation of GPCR. And then we moved to the third project, which is the signaling from BA2AR and the GS protein. And we use BA2AR and GS protein as an example in this project because it's the only structure of GPCR-GS complex available. And in the crystal structure of BA2AR-GS protein complex, this domain adopts an open conformation here. In the open conformation, the GS protein prefers to bind to GPCR. However, this domain can also undergo a conformational change from this conformation to here, this one, which forms the closed conformation. And in the closed conformation, the decoupling of the GS protein can be observed. So we are interested in how does these two conformations can have distinct effect for the binding state of the GM protein. So we include the agonist and using these two conformations for the following simulations. Here is the results from the simulation, and we found that the ligand behaves differently in the open conformation and in the closed conformation. And from the MSD matrix, we observed the 4 conformational clusters in the open conformation. However, in the closed conformation, we just observed the 2 conformational clusters, which is G and H. The most flexible region for the ligand is the group colored in red here. In an unbiased MD simulation, this group can undergo a conformational change very easily. And some kind of random effects can also result in such kind of clusters. And to exclude the random effects, we further used the MSD value of this ligand as the collector variable to improve the sampling and derive the free energy state for corresponding to the MSD value. We found for the system in the open conformation, we observed 4 conformational minimums, which And however, in the closed conformation, we just observe one conformational universe. It's corresponding to the big cluster here. The conformation H is also observed at here, but it becomes a rare conformation. So, our results from the metadynamic simulations agrees very well with the unbiased dynamic simulation, and we can confirm that the ligand in the open conformation is more flexible than in the closed conformation. Then we first carried out the community network analysis to study why does the GS protein prefers to decoupling from GPCR in the closed conformation. And in the community network analysis, the correlation of the atoms during the simulation can be used to divide the complex structure into communities. And the lines between the communities can be used to describe the strings of the information flow between the communities. And we observe very strong information flow between the GPCR and the GR domain of GS protein, as indicated by the red line here from community 2 to community 4. And between GR and the G beta gamma domain, we also observe very strong information flow between community 4 and 11. However, such strong information flow is not observed in the open conformation. So we believe that this strong information flow can transfer the signal from beta to AR to GS protein and lead to the decoupling of the GS protein in the closed conformation. Then we moved to another sub-research area, which is the ligand selectivity problem. And ligand selectivity is always a challenging issue in the study of GPCRs. And because GPCR always share conserved structure features, and if we design one ligand targeting on one GPCR, it can always interact with the other GPCRs, which leads to the selectivity problem. And we also call it the drug promiscuity, and should be avoided in most of the drug discovery cases. And for the corticotropin releasing factor 1 and receptor 2, if selectively targeting on receptor 1 or receptor 2 can be an effective approach to treat neurological diseases. However, the radius that directly interacted with the ligand are identical with each other. But it is interesting that the co-crystallized ligand here shows one servant for the hair affinity to receptor 1 than to receptor 2. And the literature has said that the radius that removed from the binding pocket can contribute to the selectivity by affecting the binding kinetics of the ligand. So we analyzed the two structures and if there are any radius that are different in the releasing pathway of the ligand. We found here. In receptor 1, a histine radius is observed here, but the corresponding radius is waning in receptor 2. And all these two ligands are located in the helix bundle and along the ligand binding of the association pathway. So we further carried out the MD simulations to study the effects of these two radius. And here is the result from the MD simulation. And because in the receptor 1, because it's a histamine, and the hydrogen bond formed between this histamine and the tyrosine radius. However, the corresponding radius is waning in receptor 2, and there is no hydrogen bond donor or acceptor atoms on the same chain of the valine. So the tyrosine radius flips, and it forms a hydrogen bond with the glutamine. If we watch the receptor from the extracellular side we can see because of the formation of the hydrogen bond here, we can merely see the ligand in the binding pocket. However, because of the conformational flip of this tyrosine radius, we can see a large part of the ligand in the binding pocket from the extracellular side. So we can conclude that because of the difference of the radius, which is histamine in receptor 1, but it's valine in receptor 2, leads to that the ligand confirm our conclusion, we carried out metadynamic simulations. And in both receptor 1 and receptor 2, we observed the dissociation of the ligand from the binding pocket. And from the dissociation pathway and the best potential we added to the collective variables, we determined the free energy landscape for the dissociation of the ligand from the binding pocket. And here, in both receptor 1 and receptor 2, we identified 3 additive minimums, which is labeled as B0, B1, and B2, and the corresponding conformation are also shown here. The x-axis of the free energy landscape is the distance between the ligand to the receptor, and the y-axis is the conformation change of this tyrosine value. And we found if the ligand wants to dissociate from receptor 1, it should go from B0 to B1, where the conformational change of the tyrosine value should happen. However, if the ligand wants to dissociate from receptor 2, it can go directly from B0 to B1, which means that the conformational change of this tyrosine value is not required for the dissociation of the ligand from receptor 2. So our results from the metadynamic simulations first confirm the observation from unbiased dynamic simulation, and because of the difference of one remote value, which is the histamine in receptor 1, but it's widely in receptor 2, leads to the conformational change of this tyrosine value and contribute to the selectivity of the ligand towards receptor 1. And finally, let's go to the summary of